Now, the 10-minute drill.
This is a big one.
Brought to you by TireOutlet.com. Wholesale prices, premium service.
Let's go, let's go, let's go.
Hit it.
All right, let's do a little sports concepts and rationalizations coming your way. We call it the 10-minute drill. And after we do this, Steve Booty, our friend Beef, will give away a prize pack that today includes what, Steve?
Got a dinner for two for you and a friend at Boston's Restaurant and Sports Bar. And also, while you're up in that neck of the woods, some free airport parking from our friends at usapark.net.
There you go.
Awesome.
Jeff, the drama rises with Tate Martell. He now says his plan is to graduate in May, which would make him eligible immediately, which would mean, hey, Jalen Hurts, don't you come here either.
I'm done with Tate Martell. I don't want him to be my quarterback. I mean, you're talking about a kid at Ohio State who begged Justin Fields not to come, and then as soon as a talented competition arrived, took his ball and ran away scared. So I could, care less where Tate Martell goes. I could care less if he plays next. Good. As a Gator fan, I hope Tate Martell is the quarterback on opening day. That would just be just perfect. I can only imagine what will happen at the first signs of any turbulence. So that one doesn't do it for me. There are a lot of amazing Tom Brady stats, Stan, but I'm going to give you one right now that should give you pause if you're on the Chiefs, and there are a lot of people on the Chiefs.
Okay.
Tom Brady in his career, when facing a quarterback who is in his first postseason, is 10-0. And now, Tom Brady doesn't get the credit for that. Don't miss my point. The defense probably does, and Bill Belichick does. But this notion that this high-flying KC offense is going to hum along on Sunday, I think is fool's gold. What say you?
I say fear Bill Belichick. I know they're on the road. It's a different animal. I like Kansas City. I don't think we're going to have I think the first time they met was a 43-40, something along those lines.
Something like that.
I don't think we're going to have a game like that again at all. I think that I like what Tony Romo said the other day, where he likened this Patriots team to getting ready to play the greatest show on turf. The Rams, and they held them down that day, if you'll remember. They were 19-point underdogs. However, this time they're only 3-point underdogs. So, were they 19-point? Is that, yeah?
I want to say 17.
It was some incredible number, if I remember.
Yeah,
there was no way that the Patriots were going to, play with, let alone beat the Rams.
That was their first one.
Yes. So, to answer your question, it's also going to be 0 degrees, tough road to hoe for both teams. I look for I like the under in that one.
Yeah.
Whatever it may be.
That's probably 50.
NBA teams won by an average of 28 points yesterday. It was an odd night.
By the way.
Highlighted, yes.
That's the biggest in the history of the league, minimum 6 games on the schedule. Yeah,
highlighted by 51 points for the Warriors in the first quarter and 10 threes. Also highlighted by 149 scored by the 76ers. We've seen this trend. Two-part question. One,
the Hawks scored 142.
Yeah, what's the genesis behind this? Is this all because of the Warriors and the way they play, and let's get shots off, get down the floor and shoot? Or
it's a great question, because usually when you see this huge uptick in scoring, there's been a rules change. You know, suddenly it's a 12-second shot clock instead of 24. So I don't know. I would think that, like most professional leagues, there's a bit of copycat. That's an excellent question. I've thought a lot about the increased scoring, but as to exactly why that's occurring, I don't know if I have an answer for you. I do find this interesting. To me, NBA basketball is the only professional sport where you can have a statement game. Football's too short. There's no you either win or you lose. Statements don't matter. Baseball's too long. You might have a statement series that turns you around, but basketball is that one that, and last night for Golden State was that statement game, right? Everyone's writing them off, and they're flawed here, and you better watch out there. Denver, who they scored the 140-something on, had the best record in the West. They had the best home record in the NBA, and Golden State went in and said, just a quick reminder, Denver, here's 51 in the first, and here's a 142-111 loss. Suck on that until we see you in May. So that's kind of what I took out of that game. Do you feel that officials either by design or by coincidence influence games intentionally? And are you nervous if you're a Rams fan that the head referee for your NFC title game is a guy named Bill Vinovich? And
Billy V.
What would bother me about Bill Vinovich being,
as long as it's not cleat.
Well, the Rams have had Bill Vinovich as the head referee now this will be the 9th time. They've had him 8 times. Would you like to know the Rams record in those games?
I'd like to, yeah.
Yeah, 0-8. Including 0-2 this year, including the game earlier this year against the Saints.
Bill Vinovich is not
He's a Ram killer.
He's not a NFC West. He must be from San Francisco or something. I don't know.
What is that? What do you make of that stat? Just complete coincidence?
Coincidence. I don't make anything of it.
Now, by the way, don't forget, too, that the Rams were awful bad for a few years.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Until the last couple. But,
Listen, there's a lot of interesting numbers and to crunch about the Florida Gator basketball team. They're now 9-7 and 1-3. The most amazing stat to me, though, is that in 350 some odd Division I basketball games this year, Florida's the only team to not have a 20-point score. Not one. Every other team has scored.
That's unfathomable.
Had somebody go for 20. Allen had 17 last night. Will Florida have a 20-point score this year?
I believe they will. I'm surprised they don't. I'm surprised Kevon Allen hasn't done it yet. Nimhard must have been pretty close against Michigan State that one game where he came on late. But, you know what? That stat, though, just puts an exclamation point on Jalen Hudson's disappearance from the Florida basketball
If Jalen
team.
Hudson were scoring 16 points a game this year for Florida, they wouldn't be 9-7.
Correct. They'd be about 11-3 and be the same all. It's for the life of me, I do not understand what happened to Jalen Hudson.
Yeah.
It was a very good player who thought about going to the NBA. In fact, last year in the mock drafts at this time was a second-round NBA draft pick. So I blame this all on Jalen Hudson. And I don't mean not like he's intentionally sabotaged the program, but what happened to that guy? You know, it seems like you see this in college basketball where guys get worse as their career goes on. It doesn't happen in other sports as much. But I mean, Kavarius Hayes and Jalen Hudson are much worse now than they were 2-3 years ago, and it's hurting this basketball team.
Well, lest you wonder, it's at Georgia versus Texas A&M, a break in conference at TCU. But TCU, by the way, is not a bad basketball team. Jamie Dixon's done a good job there. And then they get this little run with Ole Miss, Kentucky, Auburn, and Tennessee. So,
well, the SEC, Dan, I said this earlier, and I've been an SEC basketball fan since I was, growing up in the shadows of Nashville, watching Joe Dean and called string music, and this is the best the SEC's ever been. It's the toughest it's ever been. And I know they've had years with 3 Final Four teams, but it's always been top heavy. This year, you go 7, 8, 9 teams down, and they have the potential to be Sweet 16 teams in the tournament. And amazingly, somehow, Florida's not one of them. Mm-hmm. That's the 10-minute drill, gang. Dan, tell them what number caller will take home today's prestigious and prodigious prize pack.
Let's get caller number 1 at 641-1010. If you jump in quickly, we're going to give you a prize pack, bang, right off the bat, and away we'll go.
And stay tuned after the break. I'm going to give you a chance to qualify for the free entry into tonight's 1010XL main event at Best Bet Jacksonville, a $110 buy-in, and you're going to get in for free. Taking 5 qualifiers this morning, and then we're dealing a hand of Texas Hold'em. We'll assign a name to each hand, winner take all. So going to give you that chance coming up after the break as well. This is The Drill on a Freedom Boat Club Wednesday.